Hey guys, it's time for another comic book review video, and this time I have a really different one here. This is Too Cool to Be Forgotten, and this is published by Top Shelf, and it is a graphic novel by Alex Robinson. This, I believe, came out in 2008. You can tell because of the signed sketch I have in mind. I actually didn't get this from Alex myself. I actually got this at a clearance bookstore, and it was seriously in the clearance section of the clearance bookstore. So I got it just because I was like, hey, looks alright. Sounded kind of interesting. The story behind it didn't sound that great, but I was like, I'll give it a shot. I was so amazed with how great this was that I had to make it its own video. The real reason I got this book was because there was another book at that store, full price, of his other comic, Tricked, which I was more interested in. And actually have still not yet found it because, of course, as I got this to read to see if I would like his style of making comics, to read Tricked, Tricked sold, and I had ended up with this. And then this actually ended in my, sorry, I have Micah with me, the puppy. She's taking a nap on my bed. So, by the way, anyway, this ended up in my to-read pile for a very long time until I was going on a trip to read, and I needed something to read. This was just tiny enough. Look how small this guy is. A little itty-bitty book. So I took this with me to read, and I was just amazed at how good this was. The concept really sounds like a bad film. Okay? And maybe it's just how it's worded on the back. And if you can't, I'll explain that in a bit. I was going to explain what the cover looks like. But anyway, the book is basically about this guy, Andy Wicks, who is this middle-aged guy who has been trying everything to stop smoking. So nothing's working. So he goes with his wife to this hypnotist. Basically, he's at a desperation standpoint, and he doesn't believe in it at all. He thinks it's just bogus, and he at least agrees. All right, I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm gonna try. Fine. And he ends up in his high school days, living as a teenager again. And that's the majority of this book, is him as a teenager. That is a drawing of him as he was a teenager, as you could tell also from the sketch in the inside cover for me. And what's really interesting is all the things he's trying to figure out in here, aside from the fact that he was done freaking out. Okay, that hypnotism thing actually worked. What's going on here? But just from reading the back, you really don't get all the cool, awesome bits out of this book. It basically sets it up like, oh, so, you know, he goes from being this, you know, old middle-aged guy back to his high school days, and trying to figure out... There's some lines on the back of this that just are eye-rolling. What's the worst that could happen? Unfortunately, he's dealt a fate worse than death. High school. No. This book is too good for that back. What's funny, though, is now that I've told you the whole thing was about smoking and him in his high school days trying to figure out, alright, what do I have to do in this era of my life to stop myself from smoking? So he thinks, and which is the large premise of this book, okay, this is actually really close in my life to that first party I went to where I did take that cigarette. And so he's deciding, okay, I got it. As soon as I go up to that party again, I'm going to say no to that cigarette, and I'm going to be, bam, I'm going to be back as my normal self again, and I won't have smoked. That's awesome. Perfect. It doesn't quite play out that way. That's all I'm going to say. And it's awesome. Love what happens in this book. Its list price is $15, but honestly, guys, I spent $2 on this. Okay? And going into this, like I kind of already said, like, alright, I spent $2 on this, it's the only thing I can fit in my bag. Let's go for it. I was blown away with how well this was done. He understands panels very well. He understands how to get into characters' minds very well. This is so amazing how well this is done. Actually, oh, that's cool. There's a quote on the back from Brian K. Vaughan. He did Why the Last Man, Ex Machina. I also think he did a little bit of Lost. The art in the interiors, as we see here, is just black and white. Pretty high contrast, but it is still done in this cartoony style here. And basically, the majority of the book is him, like I said, trying to right the wrongs in his life, or he's thinking he's righting the wrongs in his life. Like I said, it's not quite going to play out that way. A lot of really awesome things happen. The book itself is supposed to look like a cigarette box. I don't smoke, so I didn't see it at first. I thought it was just a poor design. Honestly, that's why it was one of the reasons I just kind of put it away. It looked like a normal novel. But when you flip it over, it kind of reveals itself a little more, makes it a little bit more obvious, because the description of the book is the warning label of the cigarette box, and it literally starts, warning, middle-aged Andy Hicks is trying to blah, 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 blah. And then it goes into the bits I was telling you before that some are a little cringeworthy, but whatever. There's really, I really don't want to say too much about this. It kind of reminds me of The Underwater Welder, now that I think about it, because I did the video for it as well. I didn't think about it up till then, but they're actually both similar stories in a way where it is all about getting into one character's head and they need to figure out something crucial about their lives to complete the main goal or plot, the driving plot elements to get them through to a new place in their life. And this is really just like it. And Underwater Welder is one of my favorite comics, at least for this year, if not from everything I've read. It's one of my favorite. And to compare this to it, something I dug out of the clearance bin. Really? Nobody knows this? At least Brian K. Vaughan, At least Brian K. Vaughan's out there. Maybe he's, friends with this guy or something. But anyway, I highly recommend this book. Too Cool to Be Forgotten, like I said. This is from Top Shelf. I don't have many Top Shelf books. Honestly, is Underwater Welder a Top Shelf? Whoop. Can't tell from here. Yes, it is. Underwater Welder is a Top Shelf book. That is so weird that I was just bringing it up. Because I thought I also remembered in my Underwater Welder video, I said, hey, this is guaranteed the best Top Shelf book I own. I hadn't read this yet at the time. I still stand by that. If you have read Underwater Welder and you really loved it, you've got to read this. This is great too. Plus, if you can get it for $2 or anything near that, $5, $10 is even a good deal. Because it's just a great book. I don't want to talk about Underwater Welder anymore. Just really, we're supposed to be talking about this. There's so many great things in this book. There was not a single thing in this book that I remember flipping through going, that was a bad decision. I don't really like that. The panel layout doesn't look quite right. Nothing. Everything was smart. Every decision he did was, I was like, oh, nice, cool. Like he's messing with the panel arrangements when he needs to, and only enough just to get his ideas down and correct. It's great. Great. I'll stop. I'm not gonna say any more stuff about it. I think you really get the gist of it. I can't complain about that book, which is so crazy because I dug it out of the clearance. So, hope you guys get a chance to grab Too Cool to Be Forgotten. If you have read it, let me know down in the comments. Maybe this book is way more popular or known than I'm expecting it to be, but if so, let me know down in the comments, because I would like to hear, because I want to know that guy is getting the notoriety he deserves. So, I'm going to see you all in the next comic book review video.